So at the end of the day, it's who do you like to work with? Who's going to work on the nights and weekends to try and help you as you're putting offers in? That's the person that you want to take a look at. Hello, my name is Ken Grazak. I am a mortgage broker in Minnesota. Still got the messed up wrist. I wanted to shoot a quick video here about pre-approval. I've helped over 1,000 families find homes over the last 22 years, and I've seen the ups and downs of what people can do and what people have concerns about. So if you have questions after watching this video, feel free to reach out to me. My information is below. On Saturday, I had a buyer that was in a home, and I had met with this buyer, or not met with him, I talked to him on the phone at around Christmas time. They said they weren't gonna be purchasing a home until March or April. Well, these guys had been going off looking at homes through open houses, and on Saturday, they looked at a home with their agent and they fell in love with it. $450,000 property, it was beautiful. And they were excited. The problem of it is they called me and they said, hey Ken, we love the house that we're in right now. We wanna get pre-approved right now. The problem with that is they hadn't even started any sort of process of pre-approval. Now, within 45 minutes, I was able to figure out how much they were pre-approved for, and they were looking at homes that were out of their price range. They wouldn't have even been happy with the monthly payment on the homes that they were looking at. So I'm gonna go through the benefits of pre-approval, why you should do it. It's not a commitment to you to buy. So if you turn around and you start the pre-approval process and you don't even buy a home, you're at least going through the education phase of, should I buy a home or shouldn't I? And that's the biggest part of helping you with your time. Now, what is a pre-approval? It's a borrower that goes and fills out an application or does an application with a loan officer and then submits their W-2s, pay stubs, their assets, bank statements, and a loan officer has the ability to physically verify everything that they've given them to what they've put on the application. Some people will think that they put information into the rocket will think that putting information into a computer is going to get you to a point of pre-approval. That's really a pre-qualification because you can be pre-qualified, but you not technically pre-approved because there's no verification of income or assets. So you want to know your numbers. You want to make sure that you're looking. If your budget is $2,000 a month for a mortgage payment, you want to make sure you're not looking at homes that are going to be $3,000 a month. That's just going to be a big bummer for you. So the advantages of pre-approval is you'll know your budget. So you're going to be able to look at homes that are going to fit what you comfortably want to pay for your budget on a monthly basis. You're going to look good to a seller if you're pre-approved. My clients on Saturday, as they were walking through that house, they had no clue that they didn't qualify for that home. That's just, if they were to put an offer on that house, not have a pre-approval, the seller's probably not going to take them seriously because the seller doesn't want to take that house off the market just to have to put it back on the market a week or two later. And the third thing is the reason you want to get pre-approved is if you want to be that buyer and you want to look at homes and you want to make sure that you can physically put an offer on a home that you find. So a pre-approval is not a commitment at the very end. So there's still work you have to do, but a pre-approval is going to get you prepared so you can place that offer with your agent. So one of the cool things that we can do with my team is we have a very cool mobile app that you can work through. So if you want to do the application through a mobile app or you want to do it online, you can choose either one. If you want to take pictures of your pay stubs, your W-2s through the mobile app, you can do that. If you want to just submit the PDF through online, you can do that. There's options for you. But once you're pre-approved, I will have that information in the mobile app and you can actually take a look at what you qualify for. You put what the taxes are of the property and it'll tell you your number as to what you're pre-approved up to. Taxes can be different in different locations. So taxes one place might be $3,500, another spot it might be $5,500. You're gonna be pre-approved for more if the taxes are lower because what they're gonna look at is the ability to repay that loan back. And what they're looking at is what the monthly payment is. They're more concerned about the monthly payment than the amount of home that you're qualified for. So that's the difference between looking at all the numbers. Okay, so what is the process? Like I said, you're gonna do the application. I'm gonna take a look at that application and get you qualified. Once we know that you're qualified, what we're gonna do is, and I can shoot you some numbers at that point too, we're gonna request W-2s, pay stubs, and bank statements. So be prepared for that. And I may request an ID too, just to make sure that you are who you say you are. Once I receive all of that, we'll take a look through that and then we will update the mobile app to pre-approved and you'll be able to take a look at what the payments look like. We're going to go through what the payments are. We're going to do a 30-minute consultation, go through what the payments are, and go through any questions that you might have about the market. I've got a lot of really cool tools that I can offer to you, or I'm sure other lenders do as well, where you can look at the different neighborhoods and things like that. You can also do that with your agent as well. So once I've reviewed all these documents, we will get the file set up. And then if we have a funky scenario, we can always submit it to an underwriter, have an underwriter review it, just because if you've got a different type of scenario, you definitely want to have an underwriter look at that file before you spend the time to go put an offer on a house. The process can be as little as 45 minutes, like my clients on Saturday, or it could take a couple days depending on how fast. Maybe you're a self-employed borrower and we need to get tax returns. We're going to take all that stuff in, we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to give you a realistic expectation of what you can put an offer in for a house. All right, so what are some of the questions that I get asked about pre-approval? The number one question I get asked is about credit. And a lot of folks are very protective of their credit and how that's going to affect them with a credit pull when it comes to a pre-approval. We have to look at credit. We have to look at the whole picture. We have to look at credit, income, assets. We have to look at it all. But credit bureaus have made it easier and easier to do what's called a soft pull on credit, which would give us the number, and it would give us your credit score, and it would give us the different liabilities that you have. So I can get a good, realistic idea of what you would get approved for based upon that. Now, if we have to dive deeper and do an underwrite on the file, then we're gonna have to do what's called a hard pull. But a lot of the times, obviously check with your lender as you're doing this. A hard pull isn't going to hurt you as bad as what you might think. It's not going to drop your score 90 points. It's only 15% of the whole credit score algorithm. Another big question that I get asked is, how long does the pre-approval last? So a pre-approval will last as long as your credit lasts or as long as your income. So most people are W-2. There's nothing fancy about their income. There's nothing fancy about their assets, and there's not really many changes on their credit. So your credit would be, your pre-approval would be good for 120 days. At that point, then we would want to re-pull credit to make sure there's nothing happened to your credit, and we would want to try and get updated pay stubs and assets. But if you're in a very stable job and you're being very good with your assets, that pre-approval can last for as long as you need to try and find a house. Obviously, if something changes in your finances, that's something that I would need to know, or your lender would need to know, because a change in your finances, like how much money you make, or maybe you were getting overtime and you're no longer getting overtime, or maybe your job switched and you were a W-2 employee and you switched to a 1099. These are all key factors that we need to take a look at during that pre-approval process. But for the most part, if you're a W-2 employee and there's no change in your income, there's no change in your assets, there's no change in your credit, we should be good. Another question I get is, can I get pre-approved with different lenders? At the end of the day, you got to pick who you know, like, and trust. You're going to be buying one of the biggest purchases of your life when you purchase a home, and you're going to want to make sure that you like who you work with. It's a point of, most lenders are priced about the same. I'm a broker, so I can shop a bunch of different lenders, but most lenders are priced about the same. So at the end of the day, it's who do you like to work with and who's going to go to battle for, who's going to work on the nights and weekends to try and help you as you're putting offers in. That's the person that you want to take a look at. Like I said, Saturday, I'm doing an application with a borrower because they want to purchase the home that they walk through. So obviously I'm going to go above and beyond when it comes to time, but you want to work with somebody who you really feel comfortable with and you trust. All right, so big key things. You want to know what you can qualify for. You want to know your numbers. You want to make sure a seller looks at you in a good light as you're putting offers in on homes. So all these things are revolving around getting pre-approved. And it's the most important piece, and it's the beginning piece. It's like anything. If you build a strong foundation, the house won't fall down. If you do the pre-approval up front and then you start looking, you're not going to be disappointed. If you're in a position where you just want to get an idea of what you qualify for or you're approved for, feel free to reach out to me. My information is down below. I make it really easy to do this, to start that process. It takes about 7 minutes to do an application. I promise you, you will get the service that you deserve when it comes to getting pre-approved. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help with whatever questions you might have. My name is Ken Grazak, and I look forward to helping you buy your next home.